Hey everybody, Multiclassic Gamer here. Welcome to episode 63. But, more importantly, this episode is the finale of Metroid Prime 2 Echoes in the Trilogy. So after today's episode, there's only one game left for us to go through. And, real quick here, I'm gonna take care of these things. Anyways, we are starting this episode in the Sky Temple, which is the dark and twisted version of the Great Temple. And we need to climb our way up to the top of the temple and recover the final stolen energy, planetary energy from, and return back to Aether, from Dark Aether. So here we are at the Sanctum. This room right here is where our battle shall begin, to recover this thing right here. This is the core of the final Dark Energy Controller. The last collection of planetary energy lies within the core. When you place it within the energy transfer module for return to Aether, this world will become heavily unstable. As if it hasn't already. But there's one last land with purple skies, so we need to fix that. Make it red. With the blood of Ing. But it's not going to be easy. That Cyclops monstrosity with 4 tentacles is the Emperor Ing. The supreme leader of all the Ing. And with that, we have a lot of logbook scans for this thing. First we have the head. Ruler of the Ing Horde. Target will form numerous tentacles to defend itself. Eliminate them to weaken its defenses. And then the body itself is also another scan. Going to this battle, you should have 7 missing scans at this point. I mean, it's impossible to tell, just from the percentages and whatnot, but you should be missing only 7 scans before you go into this fight. Anyways, targets drawing energy from the unstable energy controller. Eliminating target's connection to the energy may be an effective strategy. Pretty much what you have to do is you have to eliminate the tentacles, and a proper way to do this is using the Seeker Launcher. That being said, these tentacles, they move pretty erratically, so it might be difficult to get a shot in, but what it comes down to is just surviving until the end. I mean, obviously you gotta actually do stuff, it's not just about survival, but for me, it really comes down to just surviving this particular phase of the battle, because I've always struggled with these tentacles, because they're everywhere, and it also didn't help that in the blind Let's Play I was trying to use super missiles instead of the Seeker Launchers, and honestly, I will admit the Seeker Launcher is the proper strategy here. I've found that from personal evidence, or personal experience. Now we got another scan right here after getting rid of the tentacles. This is its vulnerable states. We have the eye. Unstable in biomass. Central eye is protected by a potent barrier shield. Shield does not provide complete coverage, however. So you gotta get in between the cracks, essentially. However, every so often it's gonna shoot this giant laser. And when that laser hits you, you're gonna be temporarily unable to use your beam. So it's very annoying. And it only lasts for 5 to 10 seconds. And after that, it regenerates the tentacles. So you have a very, very, very small window of opportunity to do any damage to this thing. That's what makes this first phase so rough. But yes, there are multiple phases here. It's time to get that Seeker Launcher out and try to get these tentacles. Whenever it's doing this attack, it's probably the best opportunity to get the tentacles, because it's like the one instance where they are, basically stable and still for if only just a few moments. Okay, here we go. Seems to be doing this attack quite a bit, this whole, shooting the energy ball down on me. Anyways. Oh yeah, it just likes to use that attack a lot, apparently, for some reason. I don't know if that's just a specific Trilogy thing or what, but yeah, it's, seems to be defaulting to that move quite a bit. As well as this move right here, where it just kind of twirls around. But, we will stop it. Ah. See, I had a perfect opportunity to set up right there, but I totally flubbed it up. Okay, there we go. Just one more left. Eventually, later on in the battle, what it's going to do is it's going to, feed its tentacles through portals, and the portals will generate right directly next to you, so that's another way of attacking you, essentially. Yeah, I just like to use super missiles here for this particular phase, when it's just the eye. But you gotta dodge that laser most importantly, if you're gonna stand a chance of getting any damage in here. Come on, come on, come on! Just one more shot. Yes! That was actually pretty good. I was not expecting to actually get the first phase done that fast. Anyways, now move on to the Chrysalis. Make sure to scan this before you get onto it, but it's gonna emit a bunch of, I don't know if it's cyanide, but basically just ing gas. So you gotta get the scan in and then get rid of it. Well, avoid it, obviously. Regenerating ing ruler. Target's Regan shell is magnetically charged. 11 weak points have been detected. Target them with concussive blast to shatter the Regan shell. Okay, so this is where having all of your power bombs ready is very important. As you approach these weak points, it's gonna have like these defensive ing blobs come after you to try to knock you off its shell. These particular these ing blobs are basically your chance to heal yourself after that struggle of the first phase you probably went through. So this is actually probably the best part of the battle, because it gives you a chance to heal yourself, and it's not very damage intensive, essentially. But you really gotta position these power bombs like pretty carefully, because these tentacles, when they come out, they're pretty annoying basically to deal with. But a power bomb will make quick work of them. You gotta approach the weak points in order for the tentacles to come out. Only by damaging the tentacles do you actually make any progress and destroy particular weak points. So we're gonna do that with this one real quick. But definitely, if you want to, take this opportunity to heal yourself to full health, especially if you're doing a hyper mode run. Like, definitely you're gonna need to do that. And also, at certain points during this phase, the gas will rise, and you'll have to retreat to the very top of the Chrysalis in order to, yeah, it's to the very top of the shell in order to stay safe. But don't worry about power bombs like after this battle. Like, obviously, you don't need power bombs for the final phase of the battle, just for this particular phase right here. So definitely, feel free to go liberal with them, basically. It should be the last weak point right here, I believe. Oh, not quite, because I got one more left. It's probably somewhere around. Yeah, also make sure to refill your missiles, too. You're definitely going to want those for the last phase of the battle. Here we go. It's the last weak point right here, probably. Come on. Come on. Yeah, it's going to knock you around quite a bit. It can be kind of annoying. But there we go. There it is. Now we move on to the final phase, where the shell shatters. The Emperor Ing is now mutated. Now it's got legs, and yeah, it's pretty fierce creature at this point. And it's got one more scan too, and this is the last Dark Aether scan, so we're looking pretty good on all the scans at this point. Mutate Emperor Ing, altered ruler of the Ing Horde. Further phase on mutation of the Emperor Ing has occurred. The creature seems to only take damage when its heart is light or dark. Find a way to change the heart to one of these colors. So definitely pay attention to that, because right now, when starting off the battle, the heart is red. That's that orb inside its head right there. That's its heart. That is the weak point of the creature. The first thing you gotta do is you got to make it light or dark by damaging it enough. And this the problem with this part of the battle, is that it's really hard to get a shot in, because first of all, you have the legs in position in such a way that they partially block it, but also, not only that, but the opening is very strict, essentially. Like, it seems like you'll hit it when really you didn't, and it's just a mess at times. It really comes down to opportunity. Okay, there we go. So once it turns into light or dark, then you can finally start actually dealing damage to the creature. Whenever it's open like this, this is the best particular opportunity to get some damage in. There's specific attacks they'll do where you get a really good window of opportunity to do damage to it, but for the most part, it's just whenever it's just moving around and whatnot, it's very difficult to get any shots in. Okay, there we go. And then eventually it'll turn back to red. At that point, you gotta switch back to super missiles to switch it back to whatever. This particular attack right here, what it was doing right there is just, it was preparing to charge at me. That is a perfect opportunity to get a shot in right there. Oh yeah, this particular laser attack will also knock you off base, and yeah, stun your beam for a second. Actually, to be honest, whenever the heart becomes light, I find better just use the Annihilator Beam, because first of all, the Annihilator Beam is extremely useful during this battle, but don't use it as a crutch because you will quickly deplete all of your beam ammo. What I would do is just only use it when the heart is light or dark, and not in this particular state where you just use super missiles to get it out and get it back into beam light or dark. There you go. Okay, so now it's yeah, the shockwave move is always can be quite devastating. Come on. There we go. I find the light beam to be a lot more effective at firing shots. That's why I'm fine with using it there. But when it comes to with the heart being light, I just prefer to use the Annihilator Beam, because the dark beam ammo, it's a lot more tricky about getting shots in. Okay, this is that attack once again. So it's basically gonna charge me right now. It'll pounce a few times to warn you, so it's not that difficult to avoid. Okay, I'm not gonna bother trying to use the any of the beam combos in this fight. I'm just going to, go either Annihilator Beam or Light Beam, essentially. There we go. Get a lot of good shots in right here. Now at this point, it's already almost dead. This battle is not as difficult as I remember it being. Okay, this battle was one of my infamous close calls, basically. At the very end of the battle in the blind Let's Play, I literally had 3 energy left when I took it down finally. So, it was a very lucky battle, but here, as you can see, things are a lot different. I basically kind of know what I'm doing, so I'm not struggling at all, and basically, I still have like I'm only missing 2 energy tanks, despite the fact I'm doing this battle in well, actually, the difficulty is no different than it was when I did the original Let's Play, because again, better mode on Trilogy is the same as what am I trying to say? Normal mode in the GameCube version. As you can see later on in the battle, also as it gets more damaged, the heart becomes like, it seems to shine brighter or something. It's kind of weird. But there we go, we did it. The Emperor Ing is defeated. That planetary energy is now ours. Or Ing's, but maybe I could borrow it. Don't borrow it for some time. I could really use some extra energy, Sometimes I just feel out of it, And with that, the Ing are fully defeated. Let's get that last planetary energy, Samus. But, remember what that scan said when we scanned the planetary energy before fighting the Emperor Ing. Hold on to your butts. And just like classic Metroid fashion, we actually get an escape sequence at the end of the game. This is just one more reason why this game is better than Prime 1, in my eyes. Just because the fact that you actually get an escape sequence at the end. I mean, like, yes, there was the one at the beginning in the frigate, but still, I think this one is just way better all around. For reasons that are coming up, actually. Because, friends, it may seem like a simple escape sequence, just getting back to Dark Aether through that portal by our ship or whatever. Or actually the one close to Taurus Bog, or wherever it is. But it's not going to be that simple. Regardless, let's make our way down. Let's make our way for that portal. Let's hightail it, Samus. Come on, let's go. Seems that somebody's not so ready for us to leave. This is it. Yep, it's Sonic. Sonic is back. Okay, fine, Stark Samus, for one last rematch. Dark Samus, supercharge of Phazon energy. Target's Phazon energy, weaponry, and defense systems are at full power. Phazon exposure has rendered Dark Samus invisible to your Dark Visor. Well, not quite at the moment, but yes. Basically, this is the real final boss. I never said that the Emperor Ring was the final boss for a reason, after all. This is the true final boss of the game. And you have only 8 minutes to defeat her, essentially. So, invisible to our Dark Visor? Well, pull out the Echo Visor, because we can see her now with this. It's interesting, you can see like the skeleton of the Metroid Prime there, which has taken on human form, obviously, to imitate Samus. Invisible now? Oh, yep, okay. It's kind of hard to tell, like, whenever she becomes visible with the regular visor again. But as you can see, that was not the last scan. There's still well, there should be only one more left. Hopefully I didn't miss one. I just sincerely hope I didn't miss anything else. Because there's a distinct possibility I might be missing something here. Okay, are we at this point yet? Oh, nope, okay. You have to do like a certain amount of damage here, and I haven't been too busy just using regular shots, but I should be using super missiles. Come on, let's break out the big guns here. Okay, now you're going to become invisible. You always do that after that. Okay, here we go. There we go. Let's actually get some super missiles in and can do some real damage here. Oh yeah, I should also mention that you do automatically get healed during the after the end of the Emperor Ring battle, so you don't have to worry about being low on energy here. And now, when Dark Samus starts doing this, scan her one more time. This should be your final logbook entry. This is Dark Samus 4. Unstable Phazon energy form. Target can generate shield immune to all forms of attack except Phazon energy. Draw and expel Phazon for use as a weapon. I must not have scanned her in the blind let's play because I had to figure that out myself. I didn't realize that this was a separate scan too. But there we go, folks. 100% of all logbook scans downloaded. And there's no reward for doing so. Yep. I stressed over that all this time for nothing. Oh, damn it, I missed there. So, basically, 2 things are going to happen when she's in this form. First, when the ball increases in size, get your charge beam ready. And I find it best at that point to stop auto-targeting, or stop the lock-on. I find it easier to suck in the Phazon when that happens, when I'm not charged. What am I trying to say? I find it easier to suck in the Phazon when I'm not locked onto Dark Samus, basically. Like, I find it easier to just manually aim up at it, essentially. And then after she exits this form, she'll usually just try to charge at you, essentially, and damage you that way. What I do is just use Super Missile, and they'll automatically do just enough damage to force her back into this particular phase. And I totally messed it up there. I think the problem was I was probably backed up to the wall or something. Touching the wall will get you hit by Phazon, just like in the Emperor Ring battle. Yeah, just wait for the ball to increase in size. That's how you know she's about to do this. There we go. I really don't find this battle to be that difficult, honestly. I find it pretty simple. If you follow this simple formula, you'll get it. Super Missile, then, yeah, she goes straight back into this. I honestly find the Emperor Ring a lot more difficult than Dark Samus here. Helps if you're prepared for that to happen though. I think it's pretty random, like which attack she uses. Sometimes she'll do that several times in a row, like this. But other times it just seems to. Oh god. There we go. Did I even damage her there? Oh yeah, I did. Okay. Ultimately, the Phazon projectiles are your only way of attacking her. It's effectively, essentially. Sure, the Super Missile does some damage, but that just forces her back into this, so you might as well just rely on the sucked-in Phazon to attack her. So once again, fighting Metroid Prime with Phazon, just like at the end of Prime 1. It's really cool. Very, very cool. Very ironic, too. Something that's filled with Phazon. You're fighting fire with fire, basically. And just one smidge of health left. That's it. We got this. We totally got this. We got this by the ass. Okay. Alright, here we go. done yet? This moment right here is just so interesting. Like, you just have Dark Samus, like, slowly crawling up to Samus, and I'm not exactly sure what I'm supposed to interpret this as. Like, she reaches out and tries to touch Samus. It's weird. And Samus is just totally unfazed by this, or intrigued, or whatever. But, yeah, I just try to remember we're supposed to... Just trying to get out of here. And that Phazon mask is still there. And now we got some friendly company here. Probably also not excited for us to leave. That's right, there's that portal generator we never used. Did you see that warrior ing that was crushed by debris or something? It's definitely, well, at least I saw it go down. I wasn't sure if it was crushed by debris. I have to assume that's what it was. Uh-oh. And with that, Dark Aether is no more. This right here is so satisfying to see. The eradication of Dark Aether. Aether's planetary energy has returned to its full potential. Unfortunately, though, those dark and light suits, yeah, we were just borrowing them. They're not ours. You're welcome, though I wish I could distinguish you, Moss, among you, but, I must be off. I have another adventure just ahead of me. And as is tradition with any Metroid game, we get to see Samus, this time, fully without her suit. Without the electrical interferences of Dark Aether, we can now exit the planet just fine. And that, my friends, is Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. We are now 2/3 of the way through this project, and wow. All I can say is just wow. I still heavily hold that I prefer this game over Prime 1. I understand a lot of people disagree with me on that, and some people agree with me. It's just, it really comes down to a difference of opinion and personal preferences. Both games have their pros, and they both have their cons. I mean, like, I will say there are things about this game I don't like that I like in Prime 1. I don't care for the beam ammunition, beam ammunition being a thing where you have, like, limited ammunition for your beam weapons. As far as I know, this is the only instance where that ever occurred in the Metroid franchise. Otherwise, it's just been missiles and power bombs, essentially, that you have to worry about. But, then there's other minor things, too, that I can't think of off the top of my head. At least not at this particular moment. But, yeah, I will always hold that I prefer this game over Prime 1. Now, whether or not to prefer this game over Prime 3 is a whole nother story. I honestly couldn't tell you to this very day. It really is just a toss-up, because they're both fantastic. I think what really draws me into this game and Prime 3 in particular is the greater focus on story. Granted, there's still a lot of attention put into the gameplay, enough to make it still incredibly fun to play with that, even after you know the story very well. So that's the important part here to consider. You know, it's funny. I don't remember if I remember talking about like the Metroid games like individually, like my experience or whether or not I own them in Prime One. And the one game I left out was Metroid Other M, of course. And yeah, I think I haven't played that game much, so I can't make a fair judgment on it quite yet. But I can definitely tell you from what I played of it, I feel like there was too much focus on story and not enough on gameplay. Not only that, but it falters in other ways too. Like, the early hours of that game at the very least are really tough to get into, because that's why I can't... I've tried to get into that game twice, and I just can't do it. It's not easy. Like, eventually I will and do a Let's Play on it, but I just... For the 2 times I've attempted it, I just can't get into it. It's just, it doesn't catch my attention like this game does. Granted, Prime 1 took me a while for me to get into that game as well. I mean, like, obviously there was that first hiatus from I think it was like after episode 8 or 9 or something like that. Like, I was just completely out of it, and I had no interest in the game, and I had people insulting me in the comments, like usual. I won't go into that, but, yeah, either way, it took a while for me to get hooked onto Metroid Prime. And it probably helped that I had that game fresh in my mind, going straight into this one for the blind Let's Play, because, yeah, for those of you who remember, this game didn't go through, this Let's Play, when the original blind one, it didn't go through any hiatuses. I mean, yeah, I took a break from recording, but that's because I was already like 40 or 38 episodes ahead or whatever, before I started publishing the episodes or something like that. I don't remember. I was really far ahead, and I did take some time out from recording, but that was up until, you know, the Let's Play was caught up on YouTube, so, yeah. But either way, 2004 in general was just a fantastic year for sequels. We had, just from this game and Pikmin 2 alone, just fantastic sequels that stand out as two of my favorites on the GameCube. Just magnificent games. What can I say? How much can I say more than that? But yeah, I've completed a hard mode of this game on the GameCube version, but to this day I haven't been able to complete a hyper mode run. I did my first hyper mode run where I got all the way up to the final boss, you know, all the pickups and everything, and I just couldn't do it. Several attempts on the Emperor Ring, I couldn't get past the Emperor Ring. And it's mainly that first phase that really throws me off, but the last phase with the mutate phase is also, it really gets you too. And so, our total time is 10 hours and 33 minutes, which is not really accurate to the Let's Play itself, because there was the, you know, obviously, there's a lot of idle time between episodes that's going to be inevitable when you're doing a Let's Play. So, I honestly can't remember what my best time on this game is. Like, I could probably look up and find out, maybe. Maybe through past screenshots or whatever on my Wii or something like that. I don't know. Because whenever you complete the game like this, you get on the Trilogy version, you know, for all 3 games, you'll get a screenshot of this particular screen right here, so that way you can have it for future references and essentially see your best times. But yeah, again, hyper mode is activated, so I can do that if I want to on this Wii U. I have well, on this file, that is. But I do have my original file where I have the incomplete hyper mode run on my other Wii U, my personal Wii U that I had growing up. But anyways, to see that 100% ending. Aether looks really small in this cutscene compared to Dark Samus herself, which, yep. Sonic's not done yet. Sonic's gonna be back. It's funny, if you didn't get that ending, and well, I'll just say, like, if you weren't to see that ending, like, what if you went to Prime 3 not having seen it? I wonder what that would be like. Anyways, we're going to save, folks, and that's me for today's episode. Wow, we're up to almost 30 minutes. Yeah, 30 minutes, actually, right here. So, next time on Metroid Prime Trilogy, we start the 3rd and final game, Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. And I'm very much looking forward to that, so much so that I can't wait to get started recording. But that'll have to be saved for tomorrow, folks. See you later. Bye.